All right. Hello viewers. As you can see, I'm actually not using this time to do a playthrough right now. What I wanted to share with you guys is how the what I put into planning the run that I just did, and it's a bit overwhelming, but I just want to share how you could do it too, if you were interested in how I set up my run. So, what I do is I go to random.org, I go down to this integer set generator. Basically, I'm going to build lists of 1 through 150 and have a random set of that. Here's the settings. Feel free to take a screenshot if you want to. Like 6 sets is for 6 Pokemon. If you only want to randomize 5 of the Pokemon to go along with your starter, then feel free to just set this for 5 and just keep your starter along the game. I don't mind replacing my starter, but I feel like more people would have fun keeping their starter. So this is just to generate random Pokemon other than your starter if you set this for 5. But basically it spits out something horrible like this. And that doesn't look nice. And for a good amount, it does take some work to actually clean this up. The idea is for one particular Pokemon slot in your team, you are going to prioritize like this Pokemon if it's valid as your top Pokemon. This is going to be your highest prioritized Pokemon, your permanent Pokemon if you ever get to it. Everyone else is worse. So if you have a Pokemon that is, say, here at a point in the game, and you're suddenly able to catch, say, Pokemon 100, you must replace Pokemon 73 with 100. Again, I'm just picking these as random, but the idea is when you start the game, you only have so many Pokemon available. So if that happens to get you a Pokemon, say, like here, then you catch that Pokemon. But at any point that you are able to catch a Pokemon that is to the left of what you have, you must replace that Pokemon. As far as like which of these numbers are valid, the way I go with it is the number's only valid if it is a fully evolved Pokemon and it's a different Pokemon. Like as far as like I would consider them different. For example, the way that I handle the EV line is each of its evolutions I consider different. So you can count Jolteon, Flareon, or Vaporeon in the first games as equally valid. They can stay on the list. One beats out the other, however it goes. So you're not just staring at numbers. I took the first 2 sets and showed you how you kind of break them down. They have 2 interesting little scenarios. So for set number 1, first I want to point out the starters. Notice that this is Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. If you decide to consider starters as replaceable Pokemon, you just need to choose one of them, and again, at any point in the game, if you find someone to the left, you must replace that starter if you decide to go that way. What I put in orange is basically for Fire Red or Leaf Green. The ones in orange are the first set of Pokemon that you have available to you, which are Rattata, Pidgey, Mankey, Spearow, Pikachu, Weedle, and Caterpie. So those are the ones you're gonna need to kind of mark first. And in this case, Butterfree ends up being very high in the priority. And the idea is that, okay, so you're basically, for this slot in your team, you are going to catch a Caterpie, and it will stay in your team, and it will evolve however, and the only thing that could possibly replace it is this 48. Now I marked it as blue because it happens to be an unevolved form. By the way, if you want to know a good site to look these up, go to cerebi.net. On the left you'll find Red Blue Pokedex, or any Pokedex really, and then you can easily look things up here. Now if I remember correctly, that was 48. Correct, and that is Venonat. That is not the final evolved form. 49 would be valid, and if it was 49, once you could catch a Venonat, you would replace your Caterpie, probably a Butterfree at that point. You would replace that Butterfree with a Venonat, and it would replace that Pokemon. But since it's not a valid number, it's Venonat, you find out that Butterfree can't be replaced, and it will be a permanent Pokemon on your team for the rest of the game. Okay, so that's one example. And for set 2, I wanted to kind of show how you would actually kind of plan a slot in your team as you progress through the game. Orange is again what you are going to start out with. In this case, it's a Raticate, so you would catch a Rattata at the beginning of the game, and it would start off with that slot. In blue, and this is just to show how many things you'll probably have to edit, what you'll need to delete. Most of these are hold on, did I put that? Let me check something really quick. 38. I put the wrong. That's Ammonite. Okay, so most of these that are blue are under-evolved, thus they're not valid, and so you would just delete them. Like so. Ammonite, not valid. Ponyta, Horsey, Ekans, all out. And Dragonair and Gloom, they are in the middle, they don't count. Okay. Now, why did I make Scyther blue? He is by himself. The reason why is because now I actually have this path through the game. And as you can see, you would kind of go to the left as things become available. Rattata at Route 10, you could then catch a Voltorb. So that's right before Rock Tunnel. So you, at that point, you would replace Rattata with a Voltorb. And so just ignoring these guys here, the Scyther is like, oh, well, once I can get to the Safari Zone, catch a Scyther, assuming you're in the right version. That's another reason to cut it out if you can't catch it. But, so Safari Zone, okay, I replace my Voltorb / Electrode with the Scyther. But the thing is, I have Arcanine, and catching a Growlithe is possible, assuming you have the right version, much earlier. So if you can catch it earlier than the Scyther, there's no point in having this here. Again, I forget if Scyther and Growlithe are in the same version. I think they are. I think that's a Fire Red thing. So you have to kind of look it up, see if it's even possible to catch a Scyther after this. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Either way, let's say, okay, I get a Growlithe, it replaces the Voltorb, and luckily Kabutops is a great example of a Pokemon that you're not going to be able to access until, like, it won't be able to be on your team until you beat Koga, get Surf. So you're going to have this guy up until you get Surf, and then immediately you should go get your. By the way, you need to plan far enough so that in Mount Moon you need to get the Dome Fossil. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, well, then you have to kind of delete this guy, and then I guess Arcanine would be your final Pokemon. But if you plan it appropriately, you get the Dome Fossil, you get Surf, and you go get your Kabuto. This is actually what happened when in my run to get Aerodactyl. As soon as I got Surf, I got the old Amber and replaced, I forgot who. with an Aerodactyl. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I wanted to share it with the viewers that I have. Not exactly sure how else you can maybe ask me questions, but try to figure it out for yourself. But this is how I plan my runs. This is how I'm going to plan my next run. And I don't have anything prepared for you guys today, but hopefully, for those of you who are maybe interested in doing this kind of run, hopefully this made it a little clearer. And I would love to see other people try out this sort of run on their own. So thank you for watching, and I will be preparing to have an actual playthrough of the next game very soon. Thank you. Have a good night.